Welcome back. It's good to see you, at least in my mind. If you're right here sipping a bourbon with me, I'd ask you, how you doing? You'd say, fine, good, busy, tired. And I'd sit here and nod and look at you and wait. I've discovered that it takes about 3 seconds for 1, 2, 3, like that. Just 3 seconds of me sitting here in an attentive silence before you begin to fill in the silence with details. I do that because I'm truly interested in how you're doing. Attentive silence is a sign of respect, of affection, of genuine curiosity. Try it sometime. In fact, try it right after you finish this video. Ask someone, how you doing? And then listen without saying anything after they stop speaking for 3 seconds. Or maybe you could ask, how's the project going? Or, how was the meeting? Well, you get the idea, right? Ask anything you genuinely want to know and wait in attentive silence for just 3 seconds. We can flip the attentive silence discipline the other way, too. Whenever you are asked a question, ponder your response for 3, 2, 1, before speaking. Thinking about my response before speaking does a couple of things. It allows me to answer thoughtfully, and it serves as a test to determine if the other person actually wants to know. If they don't, they're going to fill in the vast 3-second expanse of silence with noise. That's okay. It's fine. Just move on. Okay, so with that in mind, sometimes people launch into talking about the hard stuff of life and work when I ask them. And I've observed that some people explain the discomfort of life in one of 4 ways. That is to say, using 4 different mindsets. The pessimist, the pathological pessimist, the optimist, and the pathological optimist. Stick with me on this for a minute. Martin Seligman describes this dynamic as our explanatory style. What he means by that is, how do we explain to ourselves and then to others the pain of life? Think about some large or small setback that you have recently experienced. How would you explain it to yourself? How did you explain it to yourself and then to others? Regardless of which style or mindset that we have learned, we all answer these 3 questions when experiencing pain in life or loss or difficulty. 1, how big? 2, how long? And 3, how bad? So the pessimist will answer, how big? Answers it by saying, it's huge. How long? Forever. How bad? We're all gonna die. The optimist, how big? Well, it's big, but it could have been a lot bigger. How long? Wow, this might last a couple of years. And how bad? Well, that's going to leave a mark. But the pathological pessimist takes their explanatory style to a whole new level. They are so pessimistic that they only notice and keep score of things that are bad. They feel like something is wrong with them if they can't find what's bad and broken and bruising. Identifying in great deal everything that is wrong or could possibly go wrong is their risk management strategy. They think that by doing so, they can avoid all risk. That is the pathology. They only keep score of the bad, and if there is none to be found, the pathological pessimist will manufacture something in the future, a possibility, and they'll treat it as though it is currently happening. Wow. 2 pathological pessimists walked into a bar, and one said to the other, oh, that hurt. The other one said, I knew it would. At the other end of the spectrum is the pathological optimist. They live in a rose-colored world that's deliberately sheltered from the sharp edges of reality. They deny even the possibility of difficulty or failure. They do that only by keeping score of activity and effort rather than by keeping score of results. Too pathologically optimistic, there's what I meant to say, basketball players walked into a bar. One said, "How was your game?" "Oh, it was awesome," said the other one. "Well, our team took 300 shots at the basket." The first player said, "Well, ours was even better. We took 320 shots at the basket." The pathological optimist keeps score of attempts, not results. My friend Ross once said, functioning as a pathological optimist, when I asked him where he was going, he said, "I don't know where I'm going, but I'm late, so I better hurry up." That's a pathological optimist. So here's my question. So how you doing? How do you know? Well, what are you keeping score of? Are you a pathological pessimist, keeping score only of what's wrong? Are you a pessimist? Are you an optimist? Or are you a pathological optimist, doing whatever you can to deny that things can get hard? So here's a tip. Optimism is a far superior way of functioning and living. It's a far superior explanatory style than pessimism because it fuels higher achievement, better mental and physical health, and greater grit and resilience. For the optimist, the healthy one, not the pathological one, failures and setbacks are temporary, specific, and external, leading to robustness and gritty persistence. Pessimists of both types, on the other hand, view failures as setbacks and permanent and pervasive, and they take them personally. And that leads them to a sense of helplessness and victimhood and even depression. And yes, you can change your explanatory style. If you're curious about this at all, check out Seligman's book called Learned Optimism. And if you're an optimist, I think you'll really enjoy the book. If you're a pessimist, you probably won't even buy it or check it out. Right? So how you doing? You know, the next time I ask you that question in person, you know I'm going to be listening very closely, not just to what you say, but to your explanatory style. Here's to you. Cheers.